Welcome back to peer-guided DBT lessons, provided by DBT Skills application, Peers Helping Peers. In this week's peer-guided DBT lesson, Mark 2-2, we will be examining distress tolerance accept skills. ACCEPTS is an acronym for a set of distraction skills which may be useful during a crisis. Remember, a crisis is when you have a serious problem, but you can't solve it, at least not now. In a crisis, there is a pressure to solve the problem, and it's difficult to stop trying. In a crisis, emotions are high, so the problem is distressing, and having high emotions generally makes things worse. A crisis is short-term. If it is happening all the time, it isn't a crisis, it's your life. If you can't solve it, at least you can keep from making it worse. Here are some ways that could make a crisis worse. Becoming aggressive, yelling, using drugs or alcohol, spending more money than you can afford, self-harm, overeating, complaining until others avoid you, giving up on trying. Distraction is deliberately turning your attention away from the crisis. Before we get started breaking down the individual letters in the ACCEPTS acronym, let's first go over what each letter promotes. A is for activities. C, contributing. C, comparisons. E, emotions, opposite. P, pushing away. T, thoughts. And S for sensations. Distract with activities. Any activity you would enjoy if you were not distressed. Take a walk, exercise, or sports. Be creative using your talents, hobbies. Be with other people without talking about your crisis. Watch a movie. Read a book. Go to the zoo or park. Go to the beach. Another set of tools to be found useful are ACE activities. Aim for a healthy life balance. Achieve, connect, enjoy. Our mood can be greatly affected by what we do, when, and with whom. In order to maintain a healthy sense of well-being, we need to balance what we do. We can use the acronym ACE to help us remember. Achieve, work, chores, study. Connect with friends, family, and community. Enjoy, play, fun, and pleasure. These activities affect our brain chemistry by acting directly on the release of neurotransmitters and are our natural anti-stress and antidepressants. Achievement stimulates dopamine. Purposeful activity stimulates serotonin. Connecting with other people stimulates oxytocin. Exercise stimulates endorphins. Therefore, making sure we keep doing these ACE activities every day will help us to overcome our problems. Distract by contributing, which might include any activity that primarily serves others. Contributing is more effective at distraction than doing an activity for yourself. Make something for someone. Listen to someone else's problems. Write to someone who is lonely. Volunteer. Another way to distract is by using comparison skills. Without ignoring your own crisis, compare your situation to others who are in a worse situation than your own. This may bring your crisis severity down a notch to a level where you are better able to cope with it. Without ignoring your current crisis, compare your crisis to a time in your life that you were doing worse than you are now. While you will need to validate your current emotions, this can help you remember that you were able to survive worse. Distract with opposite emotions. When we get distressed, one or more negative emotions dominate the scene. Think of an opposing positive emotion, then try to activate that feeling through actions. If angry, do something kind for another. If scared, watch a soothing movie with a happy ending. If sad, listen to upbeat music. Distract by pushing away. This means that you decide something cannot be solved or dealt with right now. Open your mind to imagery and put a protective barrier between you and the crisis. Imagine taking a stressful situation you might be experiencing and in which you at present are ill-equipped to handle, and putting it in a time-released locked box. Then picture yourself going with your box to another room and putting it on a shelf out of sight, for now. Be sure to use a time-released lock to remind you that at a later time when you are better equipped to deal with the distress this crisis is causing, you can return to open it to effectively cope. Another way to utilize our push-away skills is by imagining there is a lucite wall between you and the problem, so that you may be aware of it, but you are cut off from it. Another way to use your push-away skills might be to imagine that you're turning down the volume of the problem, or, if needed, turn it off for a while. Another way to distract is with thoughts. The idea is to fill your brain with other thoughts, so there's no room left to think about the crisis. Count backwards from 100 by sevens. Say the alphabet using every other letter. Work a puzzle. Recite as many different DBT skills that you can remember. Distract with sensations. When you mobilize your body, your mind and emotions respond. Splash your face with cold water or hold an ice cube. Gently snap a rubber band on your wrist. This should not be done to the point of pain. Eat a hot pepper. This is the best strategy to get unstuck when you are very distressed. Accepts is for crisis use or distress tolerance. These skills work best if not overused, but saved for a crisis situation. Like most skills, they take practice though. You can practice these skills when you feel any stress. There is no reason to wait until distress to get that practice in. Next week in our peer-guided DBT lessons, we'll be looking at the distress tolerance stop skills.